Hello everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings with you here again. I guess this is a little too high up. In this one, I'd like to call it an Ask the Andrew because I really like that title, and it was a question posed to me, but this one is about the different steroids and what are they, tell me a little bit about them, how are they different, which one should I theoretically take? And a few people I know have asked me that since I'm knowledgeable about this stuff. And I'm gonna move this chair and just stand up normal. And it's not reasonable to literally list out every single one in existence and try to explain all the differences. What makes most sense is to go based on like the standard ones, so to speak, which I don't know if they're the standard ones. I guess you could say they're the common ones that have been around a long time that people tend to use for one reason or another. So let's say the common ones are like testosterone, dianabol. Anavar is a bit less common, but I like to throw it in there because I think it's a good, wholesome one. Winstrol, but it's like if you can get Anavar, why take Winstrol? And I think that's good for the basics. Because you get, it's not tossing in your Neanderthals, but yeah, who cares? So for the basics, you got testosterone, which is the reference point in which they're all based around. So testosterone is considered a 1-to-1 or a 100-to-100 ratio of anabolic to androgenic. The anabolic is the tissue and muscle building properties. The androgenic is the facial hair growth, the deepening of the voice, and aggression, that kind of stuff. The virilizing properties that turn women into men, or boys into men. So testosterone, whether it's really, it's not that it literally for every 1 gram of muscle well, actually it kind of is, but it isn't at the same time. Basically, it's not like you can somehow say that for every 1 hair you grow somewhere that you're going to get 1 more gram of muscle. But however much androgenic effects you get, and however much anabolic effects you get on testosterone, that is considered the equal point, where that's the standard. You have to pick a standard value somewhere. Testosterone is going to be good overall because it's what your body's meant to have. It's going to build a good amount of muscle. I mean, obviously you could take a lot of it and build a lot of muscle, but at like a normal reason, well, I shouldn't say normal because most people are stupid and they abuse things and they're unhealthy and they take a lot of stuff. But at a reasonable dose by Andrew's standards, maybe like 150 milligrams a week, maybe up to 250 a week. But I know guys that are in really good shape on 150 a week. You can build a solid amount of muscle. You're gonna make like really good improvements, and yeah, it's gonna be moderate on the side effects. On the lower end overall, since you've got some really bad things like trenbolone, but it's not gonna be too bad for gynecomastia. Now, as you up the dose, of course, because it converts to estrogen, it's not gonna be too bad on androgenic roid rage and stuff like that. Once again, as you up the dose, you up the side effects. It's just like a good middle ground. And so testosterone, what's important to say about it, because it's different with other things, is testosterone, besides being androgenic and anabolic, both in very good solid amounts, it aromatizes, which means it turns into estrogen. Now the estrogen testosterone turns into is just normal estrogens. I mean, it is the normal thing in your body, so that is what we consider normal. Yes, so estrogens, in case you didn't know, but hopefully you already did, they cause things like water retention, gynecomastia, emotionalness, but it's also good for you. It's neuroprotective, cardioprotective, it's good for you, but you want a normal amount in the healthy range somewhere. Now, as you increase your testosterone a lot, perhaps you need more estrogen, but there comes a point where you still can get too much. So testosterone, while it's a good solid middle ground and at a reasonable dose by Andrew's standards, you probably won't run into problems with estrogen. But it doesn't mean you won't. Everybody's different. I don't need to get into why everybody's body's different. You don't care probably. And this isn't a whole bio class. So one person could probably take 500 milligrams of testosterone a week and never have any problems. No water retention, no gynecomastia, no nothing. And another person can take 150 milligrams a week and they've blown up like a balloon and they've got gynecomastia. Furthermore, because it is androgenic still, albeit not the most androgenic, it does still have the potential for hair loss, but then again everything does. It has the potential to increase your prostate size, which is not good for guys. You don't want to have to take a leak 3 times a night. Stick to 1 time a night if you can. And other problems you don't want. Yeah. So you don't want prostate problems. And then you have your Dianabol, which is very similar to testosterone. You could say, I mean, they're all based off testosterone, but you could say it's very much based off testosterone. It's very similar, except it was made so that it's more anabolic and less androgenic. So it means it has more tissue building effects, muscle building effects, and less of the aggression, facial hair growth, and all that stuff. So it means if it weren't for its estrogen, which I'll get to in a second, it means that it would have less effect on the prostate. It means that it would have less body hair growth and everything like I just told you, and be more mild in a certain sense, because androgenic things tend to be more stressful on the body, pushing it to... I don't know if this has been shown, but the more androgenic the compound is, the more it seems to age people, which is not a good thing. You get the leathery skin, you just look old, you lose your hair. So yeah, Dianabol has less of that, and more just of building muscle, and yeah. So Dianabol, you know how testosterone aromatizes into estrogen? Dianabol also aromatizes into estrogen, but the thing is, the way that Dianabol is different from testosterone, part of the reason why it's stronger anabolically, also makes it stronger estrogen-wise, because it gets turned into a stronger estrogen. Now the thing is, your body isn't used to such strong estrogens, and it can cause side effects more often than testosterone, like the water retention. I mean, that's not a good example of water retention, because I look leaner when I do that. Gynecomastia, more emotionalness, and increased estrogen levels when they hit your prostate increase your risk of prostate cancer. So if you take Dianabol, you should be very aware of its estrogenic nature. And it's more likely than with testosterone that you'll need an aromatase inhibitor, or perhaps a SERM, like tamoxifen or clomiphene. But you have to remember that if you take this SERM, it doesn't actually lower your estrogen levels. It just blocks it from hitting certain tissues. And then you bring in the complicated fact that you need estrogen for something, so if you take a SERM, now they're supposed to be good for the bones, but estrogen is necessary for bone health. So if you can, it's best to leave things without the crazy SERM binding to everything, and stick with an aromatase inhibitor and just lower your levels into the normal range. Because the SERM is going to bind to all of the estrogen areas and act a little bit differently on all of them. Now it acts to block estrogen, not to block it. Well, it blocks estrogen, and it does the opposite effect of estrogen on certain tissues, like breast tissue. I'll wait for that plane to go by so you can hear me better. So as I was saying, it does the opposite and blocks estrogen in certain tissues where you want it to. That's great. And it's supposed to, and it's been shown to do the same as estrogen. Well, not completely the same, but it's supposed to do the good stuff estrogen does in the bones. Now, you notice that I'm kind of getting twisted up when I'm saying that. It's because it's not so simple as does the opposite of estrogen, does the same as estrogen, or same as any bone, just point to a bone. Yeah, there's a spectrum of activity. Here it does the opposite of estrogen. Here it does the same. Now, it always falls in that spectrum. Whereas in these tissues, it's really far this way, but in the bones, it's closer to here. But maybe it's still not here where you need it to be or want it to be. So, an aromatase inhibitor is going to allow you to actually just tune in your estrogen levels. It doesn't block it from binding anywhere. It doesn't bind to and do weird things. It just prevents the Dianabol from turning into estrogen in the first place. But it doesn't prevent all of it from turning into estrogen. Now, if you took a lot of aromatase inhibitors or a very strong one like letrozole, it would block pretty much all of it from turning into estrogen. But if you were to take a moderate dose of a moderately strong aromatase inhibitor, perhaps you block half of it. We're not going to say an exact number, but you block a good amount of it. So perhaps you want to be here and you take the Dianabol and now you're way up here. You take the aromatase inhibitor and it gets you back down into here. That's good. And you still have the estrogen that you need to do all the good stuff, but you don't have too much doing the bad stuff. So to rehash, Dianabol, it's similar to testosterone, but it's going to build more muscle tissue. It's going to have less androgenic side effects like facial hair growth, body hair growth, aggression, deepening of the voice, and it's going to have stronger estrogen side effects like gynecomastia, water retention, moodiness. So, yeah. And then you have your Anavar and your Winstrol. I'm going to group them together at first. Both of them are what are called DHT derivatives, and they're more anabolic than they are androgenic. You know, Dianabol is also more anabolic than it is androgenic, but these ones are a lot more anabolic than they are androgenic. So you know SARMs, you may have heard of them, like they're supposed to be all anabolic and no androgenic. Well, you can think of Anavar and Winstrol as the first SARMs. Now, they aren't completely just anabolic, just like SARMs aren't, but they're a lot more anabolic and less androgenic than testosterone, Dianabol, and things like that. So, but it doesn't quite work out how you would think. So you would think, oh, it's so much more anabolic, you're going to build so much more muscle, get huge. Well, things are more complicated than just anabolic or androgenic, and the androgenic effects build muscle. There's a lot of stuff going on, and estrogen plays a role, and so yeah. So even though they're way more anabolic, they actually tend to build less muscle. But the thing is, the side effects that they bring along with them are also much, much, much lower. So it's not like your muscles here, your side effects are here, and they both go down. It's more like muscle goes down and side effects go way down. So you're going to have no estrogen side effects because, well, I mean, you could, because I'll get to that later. So you're going to have almost no estrogen side effects because they don't turn to estrogen. They do not aromatize. So no excess estrogen. No need for aromatase inhibitor, no need for a SERM. Now the thing is, if you start off at baseline and you take one of them, they bind to this thing called sex hormone binding globulin, which normally binds to testosterone and estrogen and stuff and prevents it from being immediately active in the tissue. So if you take the Anavar or the Winstrol and it binds to that, well, it frees up more testosterone. More free testosterone means it's going to lead to more free estrogen, which means for a little while you could have increased estrogen. But as you know, your body's going to adjust and shut down your natural production. So yeah, that's going to lower, and you don't need to worry about that. That's just for a couple days at most. But for the most part, no estrogen because they do not aromatize. They also are not very androgenic, so that's why women are known to take them, and while they shouldn't, you could say that they can safely take Anavar and they can sort of safely take little bits of Winstrol. So Anavar is going to be less androgenic than Winstrol, but they're both going to be way less androgenic than testosterone. If you take testosterone and you grow a beard and you get body hair everywhere, well, actually, if you took that and did all that, well, you're going to have it permanently. But let's say you took the Anavar, the Winstrol, and you don't grow any extra body hair. Well, you may take testosterone and grow all that body hair because testosterone is way more anabolic than these guys. So while they are DHT derivatives, they don't necessarily act the same way as the DHT in the hair. I'm no expert on the hair loss part, but they are very lowly androgenic, so they tend to have less hair loss than more androgenic things, but they can still cause hair loss. But hair loss is more, once again, I know much less about hair loss than I know about everything else. Hair loss is more complicated than simply androgenic things causing it, because you've got an interplay between DHT and androgenicity. And while they are DHT derivatives, they don't necessarily act like DHT on hair follicles. If you're interested in the hair loss aspect, More Plates, More Dates seems to know a lot about that. Check out his YouTube. So yes, your Anavar and your Winstrol are going to be good for packing on lean muscle mass without water retention from estrogen, without side effects like gynecomastia, and without side effects like hair growth, deepening of the voice. So really, they're like the original SARMs. Very side effect free, but they are still oral steroids, which means they're going to have liver impact. But Anavar is metabolized in the kidneys, so it means it only goes through your liver in the first pass metabolism, and then it goes through the kidneys to do its real metabolism. Whereas Winstrol is going to do its first pass through your liver, assuming you take it orally, and then it's going to go through your liver again. So Anavar has been shown to really not cause liver damage, and in fact to improve liver condition in alcoholic patients. I'm not saying you should take it if you have liver damage, not a good idea, but it's possible that it could actually help your liver to improve. So I know this gets confusing because when you get to the Anavar and the Winstrol, you avoid those principles of anabolic is more muscle and yeah, like I said, you would think because they're way more anabolic that you'd build way more muscle, but it just doesn't work out like that. So to rehash things, you got testosterone, solid, good, level playing field. It's got good, solid muscle building, good, solid side effects. Yeah, it's just middle ground. Then you've got Dianabol, where it's a little bit more muscle building, a little bit less androgenic side effects, but also a little bit more estrogenic side effects. Then you come to the Anavar and the Winstrol, where you would expect more muscle building, but you actually get less. But you also get way less androgenic side effects and like zero estrogenic side effects. How are Anavar and Winstrol different? Well, Anavar is going to increase your strength more. You're going to increase your bench press more. You're going to be strong. You may not feel stronger. There's a difference between feeling stronger and being stronger. Dianabol is going to make you feel a lot stronger, and it is going to make you stronger. Anavar, not very androgenic. If you take it without testosterone or something, you're going to have low testosterone. You're going to feel kind of, down and out a little bit, like, I don't have a lot of energy, because you don't have as much androgenic effects, giving you that energy and aggression to push hard. But you will have more strength. I mean, you'll feel weaker, possibly, but you'll be stronger. Even stronger than if you took the same amount of Dianabol. Even though on the Dianabol, I'm gonna bench 300 today, and then you go and you can only bench 250. But the Anavar, it's like, I think I can only bench 250 today, and then you go and bench 300. I mean, probably not that big of a difference, but you get the point. So, Winstrol also has the added effect of being an amazing anti-edemic medication, meaning you drop all your water. Not all of your water, because you die, but you drop a lot of your water. So it's gonna like suck in your skin. You're gonna have less intracellular fluid. So you're gonna be like muscle, skin. Not muscle with water, skin with water and water in between, and you're gonna see all the muscle fibers. So I hope this video was not too long and complex. I don't think my video's out ahead of time. I'm just talking to you like you're somebody I know. I am not a doctor, once again, I'm not recommending you take any of this, but to say it again, testosterone, it's the middle ground. Solid muscle building, solid androgenic side effects, solid estrogenic side effects. Dianabol, improved muscle building, improved estrogen side effects, increased, not improved, but decreased androgenic side effects. But you could take an aromatase inhibitor and decrease those estrogenic side effects, and now you've got an improved anabolic profile in comparison to its estrogenic and androgenic side effects. But remember, it's important not to think of them as purely side effects, because estrogen is also good. Androgenic effects are also good, but they're good in moderation. So then you get to your Anavar and your Winstrol type stuff. No estrogen, so no water retention, no gynecomastia, very little androgenicness, so you don't have the most energy and aggression and everything. But you still got the solid muscle building, so it's like I said, the original SARMs. You get the muscle building without the other stuff. But testosterone, the key thing is it's injectable, so it means it bypasses the first pass metabolism in your liver. And it also has a more liver-friendly structure. Dianabol, it's going to go through first pass metabolism in your liver, then it's going to get metabolized again in your liver, and it's got a less liver-friendly structure, so it's going to do more liver damage. Plane's coming by, so I got to get closer so you can hear me. Anavar does not get metabolized in the liver, but it does still go through first pass metabolism in the liver. Winstrol goes through both first pass metabolism in the liver, and it gets its normal metabolism in the liver. So testosterone is the most liver friendly, then oxandrolone, Anavar, then you've got your Dianabol and your Winstrol. Now, I'm not recommending you do this, and it's not popular to do this to my knowledge, but you could always inject intramuscularly the Dianabol, Anavar, or Winstrol and skip first pass metabolism. So if you were to do injectable Anavar, it would basically completely bypass the liver and you get metabolized in your kidneys. And for someone with healthy kidneys, it's been shown to be very safe. I mean, it's been shown to be very safe on the liver too, but yeah, if you want to be extra safe on the liver. The Winstrol and Dianabol, if you were to inject it intramuscularly, it would bypass the first metabolism in the liver. So you're cutting out a lot of that liver toxicity, but it would still end up being metabolized in the liver. But you're going to get less liver toxicity. Testosterone, it bypasses that first thing in the liver because it's injected into the muscle, but it's still metabolized by the liver later. But the other difference is that when you try to make a steroid active orally, you have to make it harder for the liver to metabolize. But the liver doesn't just give up when it's hard to metabolize, it increases its enzyme levels so that it can metabolize it and get the job done. And those increased enzyme levels lead to liver damage and other toxic bodily processes. So when you add on like a methyl for Dianabol, liver works harder, makes more enzyme, more liver damage, more bodily toxic processes because it changes things and makes them toxic. So yeah. HPTA shutdown. Testosterone, middle ground. I mean, you're fully replacing your testosterone. You're going to be pretty shut down because you don't need testosterone produced if you literally have testosterone coming into you externally. Dianabol, well, you may think, oh, well, it's not exactly the same as testosterone, less shutdown. Perhaps that is true, perhaps it's not. I don't know, I can't say. Depends on the person. But it's going to be pretty shutting down, like pretty strong shutdown, because it has both the androgenic and the anabolic. Even though the anabolic is stronger, it's still considerably androgenic. And it turns into estrogen. Estrogen shuts you down too. It turns into a stronger estrogen, meaning you're going to get more shut down. So perhaps that answers the question. It means that you're going to be more shut down than testosterone. Does it mean that? Maybe, maybe not. Does it seem to point to that? Yes, it does. Anavar and Winstrol, they do not turn to estrogen, so you will get no shutdown from estrogen, but they are still anabolic and androgenic, so you will get some shutdown. But remember, they're a lot less androgenic, which means you're going to get less shutdown because it's not replacing all the functions of testosterone. So you've got the combination of no estrogen shutdown and low testosterone type shutdown. But you still got that good anabolic activity. So if you're like a SARM person, but you decide to take steroids, but you want to take something that you can take and be minimally shut down, and you don't have to inject things, probably go with Anavar, because it's the less harmful one on your liver. It's not going to shut you down that much. It is still going to shut you down if you take enough of it or you take it long enough. But yeah, as I like to call them, the original SARMs. And they're tried and true. They've been used medically for 60 years now. Doesn't that sound a whole lot better of an idea than taking these things that have never been used medically, never been, maybe they've used on some humans in some trials, but really you're just going off people's testimonies on the internet? 60 years of human experience sounds a lot more appetizing to me than none. So yeah, I hope you like this video. I may remake this video, make it more concise. In the comments, say what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to know. Maybe I missed some stuff. Yes, there are other steroids out there. You've got your trenbolone, you've got your nandrolone, you've got your halotestin. But if you're just getting into steroids, you shouldn't be messing with that stuff, because trenbolone, it's going to really screw you up. Nandrolone is going to shut you down more than everything else because it's prolactogenic, unless you take some ergoloid with it. But still, it's like, stick with the basics, and the basics, in my opinion, are testosterone, dianabol, Anavar. Oh yeah, I forgot. So oral steroids, long story short, lead to more cholesterol abnormality and changing. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you care about your cholesterol or you have bad cholesterol, probably go with an injectable one. Less action in the liver, less messing it up with cholesterol. Supposedly, Winstrol messes with your cholesterol more than Anavar. I don't know from personal knowledge or secondhand knowledge. I mean, I've heard it from people on YouTube. By the way, I don't tell you most of the stuff based on random people on YouTube. That's why I'm telling you that this is not from personal life experience with people I know. So yeah, if you're just looking for pure muscle growth like a SARM, minimal side effects, Anavar and Winstrol are the way to go. I'm not recommending it, I'm not a doctor. If you're looking to add on a lot of muscle mass, retain a lot of water, and you don't care about that stuff, go with Dianabol. Or don't, because I'm not recommending it. But if you want to play middle ground, solid muscle mass, moderate water retention, moderate androgenic side effects, and less liver damage, go with testosterone. Long story short, because this is already a long video and I should get to some school assignments. The other thing you should know is testosterone esters. I should just make a whole new video on this, but rule of thumb, the shorter the ester, the shorter it lasts. The longer the ester, the longer it lasts. So you've got your acetate on the shortest end, then you've got your propionate, then you've got enanthate, cypionate, decanoate. You've got a low battery notification, and then you've got undecanoate. Acetate 1 day, propionate 2 days, enanthate 4 or 5 days, cypionate 5 to 7 days. And I can't say from personal experience, not personal me taking, but I can't say from personal life experience and people I know about decanoate and undecanoate, but perhaps like 2-3 weeks. Hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram, natural_true_fitness. And like I said, leave comments. Tell me what you want to know, what I can do better, if it was too long, if it was not enough straight to the point, but I mean, I'm getting straight to the point. It's just that, what should I just say? Dianabol big, testosterone medium, Anavar Winstrol lean. Doesn't help you a whole lot if I just say that. But yeah, that's good. Dianabol big, testosterone medium, Anavar Winstrol lean.